Good afternoon and welcome to another impactful edition of Issues of the Moment on Sun TV, your trusted platform for dissecting national and global matters with local relevance. I'm your host, Abraham Minor Jordan. Today we share the spotlight on a matter that concerns not just Taraba State or Nigeria, but the entire planet. It's World Environmental Day 2025, a day set aside by the United Nations to encourage our worldwide awareness and action for the protection of our environment. Like you all know, the World Environmental Day is celebrated every year, raises global awareness and encourages action to protect the environment. It highlights issues like climate change, pollution, deforestation, and urging individuals and governments to adopt sustainable practices. The day has inspired stronger environmental laws and community efforts, making a lasting impact on global consciousness and a push for a healthier planet. Now, this year's theme is Ending Plastic Pollution, Our Collective Responsibility, a theme that calls on individuals, institutions, and government to take unified actions against one of the most pressing environmental challenges of our time. In line with this, the Taraba State University, in partnership with the Nigerian Environmental Society, NES, has taken a bold and commendable step by organizing a state-level event that not only raises awareness, but also promotes practical solutions to the plastic menace. Joining us to discuss this landmark collaboration and its broader implications are two distinguished guests. On my right is Dr. Garkida David, Chairman of the Nigerian Environmental Society, Taraba State Chapter, a seasoned environmental advocate and voice of sustainable development in the region. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Doctor.
Yeah.
And on my left is Dr. Vincent Ojei, Chairman of the Local Organizing Committee, an academic and environmental enthusiast whose leadership is helping shaping the conversation on responsible plastic use, disposal, and environmental advocacy. Mr. Vincent Ojei is the chairman of the Local Organizing Committee. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's always a pleasure being in the midst of academics. You're welcome to the show once again.
Thank you.
And so, viewers, you stay with us as we explore how ending plastic pollution is not just a policy issue, it's our collective responsibility. You're watching Issues of the Moment on Sun TV. Let's dive right in. Dr. Garkida, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're looking very, very good this morning.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Same with you, Dr. Ojei.
Thank you very much. We're addressing for the environment.
Definitely, I can see that. Well, if before now we didn't know much about climate change and the environment, the recent change in weather, people can predict the weather no more the way it used to be. It has, I think, enlightened many people who before now thought maybe it's just one of those things that will not affect us, especially in this part of the country. Today is World Environmental Day, and the theme is concerning plastic pollution, turning plastic. Plastic is a pollution, but it seems it's also a wealth-generating issue. So what's your take on this World Environmental Day?
Well, once again, thank you very much for having me. This is a day that it's been recognized globally, and then it's a concern for every one of us because the environment should be our concern. And this year we are actually looking at plastic, ending plastic pollution. But I want to look at it from this angle. I want to give it a tripartite approach, a triangular approach. The users of the plastic, the producers of the plastic, and the lawmakers. Because the people producing the plastic have a responsibility. Those using the plastic have a responsibility. And most importantly, the lawmakers have a responsibility. Now, how do I mean? those producing the plastic should take responsibility from design to disposal. But you see, that is actually lacking, because if they take responsibility from the design of the plastic and to the disposal of the plastic, they will come up with strategies, particularly improvising plastics that are recyclable. You can recycle them instead of single use, all right? And on those plastic, they should also educate the users, the hazards, the dangers that this plastic as waste cause to the environment. You know, so when you have the producers playing their role, and then the lawmakers have a role to play, because we have to come up with, of course there are laws, but they are not being enforced, all right? So if these laws are being enforced, and then the users are well educated, well informed, I think we're going to reduce plastic as a waste to a minimal level and also convert it to wealth. So in the center of it, and that is where Nigerian Environmental Society comes in, awareness and education. It's very important we educate the people. Most people see plastic after using it as just litters,
yes,
but you don't know the environmental hazard to it. And so we need to come in as a society to educate them that, look, this has an environmental impact on the ecosystem, on the health of the people, and it's much. I'm sure Dr. Vincent is going to talk about that. Let me just stop here so he can pick up from there.
Yes, before Dr. Vincent will talk on the technical aspect of it, today there are going to be a lot of activities towards marking this event. And as the chairman of the local organizing committee, I would like you to brief us on the activities, because people need to know that something is going on, and you may just have one or two people come around.
Absolutely.
So please, what is the local organizing committee planning for the day?
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate this opportunity given to us by this global platform, Some TV. We don't want to take it for granted. The World Environment Day 2025, like the NES chairman, Taraba State Chapter, said, is ending plastic pollution, a global responsibility collectively. Now, this started in 1972 after the Stockholm Environmental Summit. So it's been over 50-something years coming. This year, the LOC has put in one of the activities which we have carried out this morning. That's campaign and awareness with flyers in English and Hausa. We went down from the university to Kaswambira, the market area, turned back, and we're educating people. Not only doing that, we're also picking plastics from the streets. So as a symbol of telling the people this is what to do, you should not litter our drainage system and all that. Now, today, outside that, there will be 2 lectures, 2 paper presentation, one from somebody as into waste management in Jalingo here, and one from an academic in the university. Okay, we want to see how the waste management person perspective on how they manage the waste generated in the state and the end product of such waste collected. Then the academia person will build on our collective responsibility. What do we do from waste to wealth? Okay, then outside that, we expect an award of 3 awards today to the Vice Chancellor of the University, okay, Professor Bako, Sunday Bako, the Commissioner of Environment and Climate Change, Haja Aisha Zainab, and the Chairman of Taraba State Inland Revenue, General Jeremiah Faranza. Okay. Those people will be awarded for their various areas of impact on the environment. The VC, even being the Vice Chancellor of the university, in fact, is also a very strong supporter and father in NES. And of course, he's hosting the program. He approved it that we should celebrate it. And also, outside that, There will be some cultural display that has to do with environmental protection. And those are the layers of activity we have in the university starting by 3 p.m. today. Actually, the date of the World Environment is 5th June every year. But because of the Salah holiday and other, we agreed to shift it to today, being the 11th of June. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much, sir, for that information. So, viewers out there, it is today at the Taraba State University. That is where issues that has to do with waste management, especially as is related to plastic management, will be discussed. And you have very, very great resource persons who are going to educate you. And also maybe you may pick a business just from the talks just from the information you get there. Dr. Garkida,
Yes.
You raised three tripartite angles to the solutions of to this. I would like to, what are the practical, sustainable practical policies that government need to make to ensure, because at the end of it all, if there is no, just like you say, if there's no enforcement, everyone will just do whatever they want to do.
Yeah, actually there are policies on ground. Yes, the challenge is the enforcement of those policies. There are policies on ground, but apart from the policies, there is need to create awareness and educate the people, even the users of the plastic. All right? Once they are properly educated. Now, let me say something. Sometimes you even see people who think they are educated about this waste, but they don't even segregate the waste when disposing it. Because some of these waste are non-degradable. You understand? So you don't dispose the non-degradable and degradable waste together. You have to separate them. So if they're educated about, you need to separate this waste, and this is the danger or the harm it does to the environment, it will come back to you. Yes, there's what we call, you see, people feel this waste, can just be disposed anyhow. No. There has to be a proper way of disposing this waste. Now, this is where the government comes in. There has to be strategies or structures on waste disposal. So this waste can easily be recycled, because when they are not properly disposed, they cannot be properly recycled. So the government has a role to play. The policies are there. It's for the government to enforce it. But see, I'm also more particular about the producers of this plastic, because they are not interested in the danger of those plastic waste on the environment. They are particular about the financial benefits they get from producing those plastics. So if the government enforce the policy and tell you, okay, if you have to produce this plastic, what are the regulatory measures that you have put in place for this plastic to be recycled? And so, like I said, from the team is a collective responsibility. The government has a role to play, the society has a role to play, and the producers of this plastic have a role to play. But we need organizations like NES, Nigerian Environmental Society, and other non-governmental organizations to come in creating awareness and educating the people. And I think your platform is doing a great job by giving us this opportunity to educate the people about this. And I know that it's going to go far. There's so much wealth in this waste that we're looking at. But the people need to know. Most people are not aware that you can convert this plastic waste into wealth.
Thank you very much. One of the roles of the media is to ensure that people are informed, and that is why Sun TV is always available to provide a platform to our advocacy for positive advocacy that will bring positivity to society. Dr. Oje,
Yes.
I know you have a lot to say. You have a lot of information to give out.
As an expert.
Yeah, he's an expert.
In the field, he's an expert.
I'm going to just blow the whistle, and you will begin to kick the ball to any direction you want to.
All right. Thank you so much. Like I said, we appreciate the platform. Like the NES chairman for Taraba State, I'm also a member of the NES. So one of the papers that will be presented, which I'm likely going to do will be on, are we really at a disadvantage in terms of waste management? And the answer is no. In 2005, Nigerian National Environmental Sanitation Policy was promulgated. That's to help the environment. In 2013, National Policy on Healthcare Waste, that has to do with healthcare waste management, was also enacted. In 2020, two national policies, one on solid waste management and one on plastic waste management, was promulgated. Then, just recently in 2022, the national policy on waste battery management was also promoted. You see, we still have layers of policy that empowers us. Now, the missing link has actually been implementation. Because NESRA, for instance, is charged with making sure these policies see the light of day and implemented fully. And that's why even my presentation, I added NES, that NES has the capacity to create awareness, so that where maybe there's a weak link from NESRA, the proper education by NES will now make people to act. That's why you see a collective responsibility.
That's right.
So nobody is leaving anything. We are not leaving any stone unturned. We just want to make sure that this waste. Yes, I live in a place in town called Yamusala. This morning, as I was leaving my house, as I was about leaving, I went to a drainage. Just if you are going to the presidential lodge annex. In 2018, I took picture from there, waste covered. This morning, I took the same picture in that place, waste covered. What is the problem? Sometimes you see our brothers and sisters that sell corn. They fetch these ones from the bush. They finish, they sell it along the roadside. Where do they put
the waste?
The waste inside the drain. When rain comes, those things blocks it. People go to Jalingo market, you are buying Maggi, they give you 1 nylon. You are buying sugar, 1 nylon. And then you see one woman come with 10. And that's why he's saying that EPR is talking about extended producer responsibility,
yes.
Where even the producer will make sure that these things they are producing, their value chain, they will monitor it to return to them.
Right.
Okay, so it is important we advocate for that. So it's a big thing because Taraba State at one time banned plastic pollution, plastic waste, single-use nylon, but up till now, like NES chairman said, you collect it free of charge. Except our people, with the awareness we are creating now, we have to be going, when they are giving you money, say, no, I don't need it. I already have a bag that I brought. Because that is the way to reduce the waste. Yes, but even if it accumulates, in fact, waste is wealth.
So what I would like to know, most of us will think it is our right to take to be given a polythene bag or a plastic whenever we buy. So how do we properly dispose this at home? At home, it all starts from disposal at home. Yeah. How do you go about it? Who will take that question?
All right, that is why we said the government need to put a structure in place on waste disposal. All right. Once the people are educated, they segregate, they separate the waste. All right, so you have different waste bins. This is for plastic, this is for bottles and like that. And then, since there's a structure on ground, there should be government employees that will come around and collect this waste. If you like, you can put charges, just a little amount for people to be paid, but this waste must be properly collected. Okay. Now, it's actually difficult because of the economy for individuals to set up recycling companies. So the government too needs to support. They need to support individuals. But you see, like I said, the problem is people are not even aware that you can convert this waste to wealth. So it boils down to creating awareness and educating people how to manage this waste. And of course, like we're all saying, the producers of this plastic have a lot to do. They have a lot to do.
Okay, yes. I can see that I agree with you. The producers have a lot to do, because if they create a process whereby you use, I remember back in the days with bottles, you buy a bottle of soda, you ensure you return the bottle.
In fact,
Or
they can create a system where they give a little incentives
Yeah.
for returning it.
Yeah.
You understand? that?
Maggie did that now one time. You return after using it, you return the wrap, then they give you some cubes. So that's what we are saying. Even the same way. In fact, in this program, we've invited most of these bottled water and pure water producing companies in Taraba State that have offices in Jalingo. What we want, the question at the table for them is, you produce water. How do you intend to manage the waste?
That's right.
So a lot of them have been invited, even including the Taraba State University water bottling company. So we want them to come and explain, because you see, we have a Ministry of Waste Management and Innovation in the state. Thankfully, we also invited the Honorable Commissioner. Maybe once these people are able to tell us something, the ministry can pick up from there, because indeed, a lot is being done with waste within Nigeria and even outside the country.
That's right.
And we can replicate that in Taraba State.
Thank you very much. I believe we can replicate that in Taraba State. Well, before we round up the show, you know, people like practical examples of what they can gain from it. Maybe if you can just tell us, you're one of the things that this waste, because someone might just wonder, why should we gather it? What would they do with it? What are the things that can be done with this plastic waste?
All right, like some of these plastics, I give you a simple example. If you melt them, all right, mix it with sharp sand and a proportion of cement, you can produce interlock blocks. In fact, that is more durable than the one we are using. We can use it on our roads. We can use it in our houses. You can produce tables like this with plastic.
Yeah, I've seen YouTube videos of
You can produce tables, you can produce chairs. You see, when you go to some of our primary schools and secondary schools, because we've been doing awareness, at least we've created a few clubs in some of the secondary schools. When I visited those schools, there are no infrastructures, no chairs. When we have raw materials, this plastic that can be converted to chairs and tables, you see, we can even help the government and reduce some of the burden on the government. But it boils down to creating awareness. So I am advocating that there has to be a meeting point between the producers, the policymakers, and the users.
Definitely. And I think that is why Sun TV is here to provide a platform where these people, producers, the end users can also meet her, because I believe a lot of people are watching this right now, and well, it will eventually get to the ears that need to hear it. So, doctors, what else do we need to say to the public?
Yes, like you just said. Let's take the water bottle, for instance. You can use the water bottle container. Of course, they actually use it. You see some cutting it into using it to like a funnel.
Yeah, funnel.
But you can also use it for drip irrigation. You can use it for drip irrigation when you cover the put water in the bottle, turn it upside down, then put little hole. It can be used to practice drip irrigation. It has been done before. Then I was in Togo last year, November, and I went to a company called Miwodo. That company is turning product from plastics, including barricades. What you only need is what we hold it to be a very strong unit. That's the only component you need, but the rest part of it, including doors, total waste. So we have our rivers. No, in Taraba here, okay. You know, this one here, river Mayogwe. Yes, we have all of them here. In the dry season, they get dried up. Like we were talking about mixing with sharp sand and all that. When they get dried up, you see those places turn to a football field. but that is also wealth. Just looking at us at the face, because right there the nylon is at the bottom of the river.
Yes.
The sound is already there.
That's right.
All we need to do is to provide a mechanism whereby people will now go and scoop the sand and the nylon and go and produce materials.
Absolutely.
So I'm also calling on my greatest joy is that the Ministry of Waste Management is called, there's innovation in their name.
Yeah.
So we need to see that innovativeness of that ministry by putting a layer whereby we can harness what we have in the environment to help the government of the day. Because I believe the workload of free education, if we can harness what we have in the environment to provide seed, I think it can also go a long way to helping the government.
But Doc, let's quickly throw light on how this plastic waste also affects climate change.
In fact, it has a direct link to climate change.
Well,
your bottle is it comes from petroleum product.
That's right.
Yes.
So if it comes from petroleum product, it means that it's biodegradable.
That's right.
Okay. Now, it has been linked to a lot of things. In fact, even a problem in aquatic animals. And that also returns to us as human beings when we consume those fishes.
Bioaccumulation.
Yes, you consume those fishes that picked at these particles, nanoparticles of plastic.
Microplastic.
Microplastic. You consume them.
That's right.
Recently, you see all the diseases that our forefathers never knew the name.
Yes, definitely.
Somebody can just develop it. Some of them comes from consumption because our people can just go to the river now. You see, I've been in a place where they are fetching water. Somebody just passing, you put the pipe, just start drinking.
Direct from the.
I will say disease not they kill African man.
It does.
I'm always killing.
But it's killing.
Yeah.
The only problem is that we are not taking statistics about the cause of the death.
That's right.
If not, we know that most of those things are linked to issues of the
And
environment.
you see, it also affects the biodiversity.
Yes.
It affects the animals and
Even crop.
Yes, even agricultural production. So once some of these animals go extinct because of these things, it also come back to us.
Definitely.
You see, the plants too are being affected. There's what we call carbon sequestration. You see, most people feel when you plant trees, it only gives you shade or for windbreakers. But it's much more than that. These carbons that we're emitting, the trees absorb them.
Yes.
You understand that? And it affects to reduce the depletion of the ozone layer. So it goes a long way. It's a cycle. It affects every sphere of our life. And I think we need to take it serious.
In fact, if you see a typical waste dump site, go and monitor the pollutant from there. You see carbon dioxide being emitted, and that is the baba when we are talking about global warming.
That's right. That's right.
So
That's right.
heap of waste also leads to global warming.
That's right.
So it's an issue that the world is taking seriously, and of course we can't afford to slack back in the state. That's why thankfully the university and NES has come together to put all this, and thankfully some TV has related it to the world that yes, we must act, and the time to act is now.
Now, because everybody is feeling the change in the weather. Everybody is feeling
the change in the weather. Thank you very much, doctors, for coming to this program, the World Environmental Day 2025. And this is brought to you by the Department of Geography, Faculty of Social Sciences at Taraba State University in partnership with Nigeria Society of
Environmental Society.
Nigeria Environmental Society. We've spoken, the word I've heard. Climate change is real. Environmental degradation is real. And also waste to wealth is real. So thank you, Dr. Garkida.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for educating us all.
You're welcome.
So, viewers out there, thank you for joining us on Issues of the Moment on Some TV as we celebrated the World Environmental Day 2025. It is clear that ending plastic pollution requires collective action from individuals, institutions, and governments. And we appreciate our girls, Dr. Musa Garkida David and Dr. Vincent Oje, for sharing their insights on this critical issue. Let's continue to work together towards a more sustainable future. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and let's make a difference. My name is Abraham Mane Ujoda. Good day, and thank you for watching Some TV.